Remember when the initial announcement trailers for this game first dropped? A technical fighter with knights, vikings, and samurai all at the same time? Oh sure, being published by Ubisoft brought a degree of caution for those of us who actually pay attention to the activities of shady companies, but a new IP such as this grabbed our attention. Once the game released and a few months went by, the collective consensus on its quality essentially agreed on some basic things. A steep but fair learning curve gives way to an extremely satisfying melee combat, but the overall lack of features made it obvious the game's community would end up dying off fairly quickly. Add in the unwanted and unneeded microtransactions and, well, yeah, the community died off pretty quickly.
Well, now what?
Obviously, this review is more of a look at the current state of the game, seeing just how things have evolved, and oh, there's a fourth faction now. And it's locked behind a paywall. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I don't speak Japanese.
Huh, there's a story mode? I kind of forgot about this. Well, since this is a part of the overall package, I have to review it, so here I go. Oh wow, that was bad. Essentially, the story mode is just a long tutorial training you how to use the individual heroes of each of the three main factions. There's a sort of story woven in here, but it's incredibly bare bones and horribly written.
When night falls, they stab each other with their knives. If there are wolves among them, should we not set them free?
Now I had new questions.
Ah yes, this sure is some quality dialogue.
The clans would do if we burned it all.
They'd starve.
Here's a question. What do you do when you're too lazy to animate everyone's face? Answer. Just have the majority of them wear helmets all the time. Oh, Jennifer Hale, it pains me to hear your talent wasted on this complete joke of a script.
That was how I joined the Blackstone Legion.
Okay, so here's the basis of this story. All three different cultures exist right next to each other in relative peace, and the Knights Nation, we're not given actual names for these countries by the way, the Blackstone Legion is taken over by Apollyon?
On your feet.
Apollyon? Roly-Poly-Oly, who has an agenda of creating a new age of never-ending war as, in her words,
War. Huh? The natural state of our species.
and that's it. That's literally the story. You play through 3 different sections as each of the factions, seeing how things increase in intensity and chaoticness. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, so it's just a lot of violence. What's wrong with that? And honestly, nothing, as the core gameplay itself is still enjoyable, but once you sit for a few seconds and think of what a real in-depth storyline for this universe could have been, you realize kind of how pointless the inclusion of a story mode was if the developers weren't actually going to put any effort into it.
Oh, I like you.
Imagine if we had a 20-hour story. We're shown, in detail, the full cultures of the knights, vikings, and samurai. How these 3 distinct peoples are able to exist literally right next to each other and there's somehow no cultural blending. Real character development. Make us spend some quality time getting to understand each faction and their people, how their economies work, what the non-warriors do for fun, and for the love of good storytelling, can we please have the Vikings act like they have some functioning brain cells? Now yes, For Honor isn't known for the story, and yes, the main draw was always the multiplayer, but if Ubisoft had given a shit and made a quality single-player experience a necessity, then this mode would have been a healthy alternative if someone wanted to take a break from the multiplayer. Instead, it's just a paper-thin, drawn-out tutorial.
War. I am war.
Moving on to the meat of the game, and we find what made the initial online community so, for lack of a better term, unique.
Victory! Victory! Victory!
Each hero uses multiple stances, up, left, or right, with which to attack from. Blocking an enemy's attack is as simple as matching their stance, engaging in an unbreakable defense stance, which only some heroes have, or you can just avoid the attack if you're playing as a more agile hero. Some focus on being defensive tanks, soaking up damage and being a general pain to get around. Others focus on pure speed and agility. Some, such as my main, the Nobushi, focus on keeping the enemy at bay with a long reach, dominating the pace of the battle.
Victory!
Still others are simply a mix of everything. For the most part, every hero is well balanced against one another. I said for the most part, feels like this character is a broken mess. And while knowing the moveset of your favorite warrior to a T, being able to pull off advanced combos will certainly aid in combat, it won't guarantee a win. Sometimes all it takes to get the kill is sticking to the basics and keeping calm, which is my personal playstyle. Keeping this in mind, a player shouldn't heed too much to little skill comparisons before a match. On paper, my opponent is slightly more skilled than I. Their chosen warrior also has a higher speed, better defense, and can take more damage before death. While it was a close fight, my reaction time to blocking incoming attacks is admittedly my main weakness. I still claim victory over my superior foe.
Victory!
1v1 duels are where everything I just said shines the best and are the true test of your mastery over your favorite fighter. 2v2s are fun, if you have a good teammate, and the confusing battles and domination, basic grunts are super easy to kill, though they are capable of killing you, can go on for a long time if both teams continuously rally.
The enemy rally!
There's really only one issue with the multiplayer currently, and that's the online servers are kinda dead. It's mainly the 1v1 and domination modes which still have an active player base, severely limiting the current appeal of the multiplayer. After each match, you'll gain experience, credits, and loot. The loot is usually things like new armor or weapon parts, allowing you to customize not only how your hero looks, but also slightly change them up to match your playstyle. Want to forego a bit of hitting power for some extra poison damage? Certain blades will let you do that. If you don't have a use for a piece of gear, you can dismantle it to obtain some armor parts, which, in combination with some of your credits, can be used to upgrade your items, making them more lethal. You can also choose some color patterns which, while not really affecting anything, add a bit of flourish to your hero. Finally, you can use credits to unlock new emotes or special spawn effects. A lot of these are actually pretty cool to see, and the emotes are often easy to spam. We all remember the memes, but they just cost a hell of a lot to unlock, or you could just buy them with real money. Concerning the graphics and the sound design, there's honestly not much to say. The game generally looks pretty good, though sometimes character animations look a bit odd, and the amount of things going on at once is sometimes impressive. We already know the voice acting is of a
I was pretty sure this was going to work.
certain quality level. The musical score is there, but nothing sticks with you after turning the game off. The best sound effects, though, come from the little things. The deep, tired breathing of your fighter during a lengthy brawl, the clangs of weapons bouncing off each other, or the full crunch of snow beneath your feet. If the unremarkable music doesn't bring forth any character, the on-point sound effects here certainly do. Overall, For Honor is still a good game, capable of giving you some incredibly tense multiplayer matches. The combat, while having a steep learning curve, is incredibly satisfying, unless all you do is get your kills via knocking people off the edge, and things are pretty balanced. However, the lack of players can sometimes lead to lengthy wait times when looking for matches, and the single player story simply fails to add anything worthwhile to the total package. It's tough for me to pinpoint my final exact feelings, but giving For Honor a 6.9 out of 10 feels fair. Hello everyone, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you haven't yet, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it so you'll always be notified whenever I upload new videos. I don't really have a set schedule, honestly. I try to put out a review every 2 weeks, but they kind of just arrive when they're finished. Also, if you would like to help support the channel even more, why not consider becoming a patron on my Patreon? For literally just $1 a month, less than the price of a cheeseburger, you can help support one little panda and their dreams of doing video game related stuff on the internet, because that's such an original idea. Okay, thanks, bye!